Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody slept well, enjoying everything that these markets are providing us on a weekly and daily basis. This is a show where we always try to make sense of those markets, try to break it down. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream, guys. Welcome to Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. My name is Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. We got a full panel today. Tucker, Max, Jackus, and Dr. Will's Outlook. Welcome, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's been a very volatile week that we've had. Right. Stocks have been moving up aggressively, especially in individuals. You've had Bitcoin, which has been giving very choppy grind ultimately. But I would say that the intra-week rotations so far have been, relatively juicy if you've been on the right side of them. Right. So today, we have stocks flat a little bit. We mentioned that you probably do get a little bit of consolidation or some form of sideways right after the relentless move higher that we've had in stocks. But I do think, just based on kind of the momentum that we've seen throughout the week so far, it does make sense that, some of these individuals that are kind of keeping the index flat right now, could move higher into the end of the week, right? Like we said, maybe some pullbacks on some individuals, but I think the indexes still look fairly strong for 4480 on the ES, 4450 on the S&P. The equity market is very strong right now. There's really no denying that, right? One of the things that we have been talking about on this show is that the VIX and the dollar are probably coming into some fairly important inflection points. That doesn't mean that it will derail the trend, that this is the top, yada, yada, yada. But, levels to pay attention to if you are looking for pullbacks, even just consolidation to slow down what has been an absolute freight train in the Qs, in the S&P, and in certain individuals like Microsoft, Tesla. So I do think that those are two assets that we should, or not assets, right? Because the VIX isn't an asset, but two things that we should probably, chart throughout the show later today. We'll probably get into some stock picking as well. Of course, we'll talk about Bitcoin, guys. We had a massive, massive squeeze off the lows yesterday. Is this a sign of continued break or of continued grind higher? Will we get a breakout? I think that's the question that we're all asking. And if we get that breakout, are we finally going to see some outperformance from something like Ethereum, from something like the on-chain markets, which have been relatively suppressed for the last 2 or 3 weeks? There have been opportunities on-chain, don't get me wrong, but I would say most of them are fairly restricted to under the 10 to 20 million market cap range, which, there's only so much ETH you can put in those. Without fear of getting rugged. But I want to keep us on topic here, right? I hope everybody has had a phenomenal week. I would love to know what we're seeing in the markets, right? Because it has been a very volatile week. Stocks up, crypto up so far, and a lot of intra-week volatility in between. What do we think, guys?
All I'm seeing right now is we got someone in the comments named Pepe Jr. If Pepe is really your first name, we need to have you on the show. That's an incredible first name. I want to also say another big thank you to Ozil, man. Ozil is single-handedly keeping the lights on here because Bitcoin. I think maybe the only person besides me on my my alt YouTube account to ever give a super chat. So thank you, Ozil, for keeping the lights on at BB. Wow. Ozil, thank you so much. Ozil's also in our premium Discord, BB GigaChad. Good morning. Let's find out roundtable. How do you guys build strong convictions outside of getting in on good TA? That's a great question. That could be a good place to start, maybe, because we do have some people with some real strong conviction on this panel. Both directions, I will mention. Both directions. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning. What's that?
One direction. Up only.
One direction. No, well, I think that's an interesting topic. Like, I want to get into the TA, but I think that's a really interesting question. How do you guys build conviction outside of getting in on good TA? Most of my conviction stems from TA, truthfully, but it certainly helps to have, core belief in the asset in which you're trading. I'd say most of the fundamental arguments for altcoins, they're a bit goofy for me. Most of them don't really stem around like changing the landscape at all. It's mostly like, yeah, well, it has good tokenomics, and the community is literally out of their minds and refuse to sell. It will pump. That it's kind of gauging social sentiment on altcoins, but with something like Bitcoin, when you're seeing super distressed prices and then you're starting to see the snowballing effect where, things are picking up a little bit, it certainly helps with conviction. But yeah, and also let's just do this real quick. Let's get this out of the way. Guys, if we could just smash that like button real quick. We got 19 already. You guys are unbelievable, man. I didn't even ask you yet. That's incredible. If you guys could just quickly hit that thumbs up button for us, it does wonders for the channel, does absolute wonders for the show. And also, if you're new here, maybe you're coming from Twitter, please consider subscribing to the Because Bitcoin YouTube. Please consider subscribing. We do this show, Market Check, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. So please, if at any point during the show you're like, this is pretty cool, I like these guys, hit that thumbs up button for us, and then also subscribe. The good news is subscribing is free. Totally free.
Dang, that's what I was about to ask, man. I was going to say, isn't subscribing free?
Dude,
I think that's free. A pretty amazing thing.
It's free. It's free. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Tucker, what are you drawing here, man? What is
look. Let's switch it up a little bit this morning. Instead of looking at what's up, let's look at what's down. Let's pull some U.S. oil charts.
Oh, you want to talk about oil, Will?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, let Will cook on oil.
The bears are coming out on oil.
Will, when do we get to see you on camera again, man? It's just not the same.
You will see me soon.
When is Caroline coming back?
No, impossible. Wait, where'd Tucker go?
We talked about oil and Tucker disappeared.
Bear with us, guys. Bear with us here. Tucker just got rugged. We're gonna get a chart back up for you guys. It's been a rough start, but we're all right. We're back. I got my chart up. We're good. I was actually looking at this Solana trade here. I haven't taken it, but I was looking at this right here. All right, let's remove this volume profile. Actually, we're just gonna look at this trade a little bit. So this is demand down here. We'll type this out. Why not? Demand. We'll make it really big so you can't miss it, and put it down here. This is demand, and then we had this little diagonal line. We started to break out. We're curling.
Max, we got to do the round table, man.
You want to do the round table?
Yeah, but I thought we were going to do the round table.
All right, let's do the round table.
What order do you want to do it? I was just trying to make sure. We got to the super chat question in its totality.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Something's going on with YouTube, guys. I think Tucker got rugged because our viewership dropped by 50% and then just picked right back up randomly. So let us know in the comments if you can hear us and see us okay. I think something weird's going on. But either way. All right, round table. How do you guys build strong conviction outside of getting in on good TA? Let's start with Tommy up top. Tommy, how do you build strong conviction outside of good TA?
Well, I mean, with altcoins, I do feel like a lot of the alpha is technical analysis and very mechanical trading. So it's going to be trading liquidity with altcoins. But I think, building out strong conviction with things like Bitcoin, things like indexes, I feel like for me, I personally try to find edge in the derivatives market, things like funding, open interest, seeing if I can spot any anomalies there that, can't necessarily be shown on a TA screen. But I will say, I think people kind of misuse derivatives for that reason. They're looking for it on a chart when it does, like, you can apply it to a chart, right? I mean, for example, like, you have X amount of longs or X amount of shorts come in from what level. And, if you flip that level, what does that mean for price and structure? So stuff like that, I think, has been a big source of edge for me pretty much all year. From an investing standpoint and in on-chain markets, I think that's an area where you can build an edge without TA at all. It's just kind of about identifying sticky narratives, right? I mean, what are people going to cling to? And, I think to a certain extent, having experience in on-chain markets to know things that people will like, right? Unit cost bias, that's one. So like if you kind of combine some of those things together I think of Spell as the perfect example of this, right? It started out as an on-chain token, had a DeFi narrative that was getting hot, a dev that was starting to get a lot of attention, had very low cost tokens, right? I mean, market cap is one thing, but people are only going to be paying attention to the price of tokens. So you combine like this wizard narrative with a token that looks really cheap. It was really cheap relative to the rest of the market. I mean, it was just kind of like this self-fulfilling prophecy and feedback loop. So I think on-chain markets, a lot of it is just kind of identifying what you think other people are going to like to buy.
That was well said, Tommy.
Hey guys, real quick. I kicked my power cord and it just boom, everything just shut down. So my bad.
I thought something weird was going on with YouTube or StreamYard because our viewership dropped by 50% when you got rugged, and then it immediately popped back up. So maybe you just have a really committed audience here, Tucker. And as soon as you dropped off, they just left. Yeah,
they were like, "Nah, we're done."
Yeah. But Tucker, we're doing a little roundtable. I'm not sure if you heard, but big question here. Okay, the viewership just dropped by like 70% again, and now it's going to pop back up. Something weird is going on, guys. Something really strange is going on. All right, Tucker, how do you build strong convictions outside of getting in on good TA?
Outside of TA,
how do you convince yourself that your altcoin pick is going to change the world?
Oh, for altcoins?
No, I'm just kind of joking. Just do you have any conviction that doesn't stem from TA, and if so, how does that build?
In terms of like a project or a token or like a trade?
Anywhere you put your money.
Yeah. I mean, sentiment is a decent thing. On-chain, metrics, derivatives data, all that kind of stuff. But somewhat on Twitter, right? Somewhat, if the team is active and doing stuff and marketing and all that, Also, a big one is like, and this is something everybody should have been doing in the bear market, but just like the whole mind share thing, right? Like figuring out, different people who you've seen succeed and valuing their analysis, right? Like that's actually a pretty big thing because nobody can look at everything, right? Nobody can find every single gem, every single project. So having like a network of people who you trust that hit plays and, if they mention something, at least doing some DD and looking into it, right? But, not necessarily just blindly following people, but just like understanding that, people you've seen succeed and, not following them, but, watching what they do in order to kind of tailor your style, right? So outside of TA, obviously fundamentals, obviously like, different on-chain metrics, derivatives data, like I said, but I think building the mind share in the bear market has been a big thing too. But project marketing, projects doing spaces, being active, all that kind of thing. So and then just like more broadly speaking, somewhat macro, right? Like identifying the environment we're in, right? Like if Janet Yellen does what she did last week, your TA goes out the window, right? So those kind of things. You gotta pay attention to what the US Treasury market is doing. So yeah, I'd say those things are pretty important.
Everybody needs to thank Janet for saving the market.
Literally.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Janet.
What are we looking at here?
Pepe,
All right.
Pepe Jr.
Hang on,
was like, I pressed like button when Jake is alpha.
Don't worry, Chef Jackus is gonna cook.
I pressed the like button. I demand.
He was thinking it's an immediate reaction. Like as soon as he hits thumbs up, Jackus just starts speaking.
We're about to cook up like a 5-course meal for you guys on this show. Just be patient.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
there is no second best.
I appreciated Junior Pepe, but this is some alpha that Max is gonna cook right now about.
Well, we still got to finish the roundtable.
We got to finish the roundtable. I'm going to leave this here as a teaser. It's pretty self-explanatory,
alright.
but we're gonna add some
Indeed,
drama
indeed,
and flair
indeed.
to it.
No,
Let's
no,
go to
we
Jackus now. At least the way
Okay.
it's from top to bottom. I'm just looking.
no,
Tommy's at the
that's
top.
fine. I'm just saying, like we're gonna do bullish after bearish.
No, only bullish. Will only bullish.
Bullish.
Only
We gotta
bullish,
talk.
only-
We gotta talk about
No,
some
no.
things that look bearish. All right, that look.
Okay,
bearish.
let's invert the charts then.
Fine,
Well,
Jackus.
well,
I'll
well,
invert, but you need to answer this question for Ozil, man. How do you
I
build
I
conviction
will.
outside
I
of good
will.
TA?
Context. Context is everything to me in everything I do and in my world understanding, because everything can be put out of context as well. So random lines don't matter. Longevity, consistency, context, all that stuff. So when I look at chart, I definitely have to look at TA, but then it's also about if I understand the fundamentals, how do they fit in, and then I also have to look at intermarket analysis, which is sort of TA, but I consider intermarket analysis. I consider like a different kind of TA, right? It's comparing the assets. So yeah, that's where, and then I can add some context to it, and everything has a little bit of different weight, but in the end it's always about context. And when I have strong context, for example, like I was super convinced on these higher time frame macro moves that all played out, and the reason I was so convinced was context on all of these for me. So I would put it there. I hope that answers this question. Ozil.
Beautiful. And last, but
And by the
certainly
way,
not
strong conviction is on Pepe as being the next cycle meme coin.
amen. Dr. Will's outlook. Speak to us. How do you build conviction outside of TA
in crypto or in stocks?
in investing?
Well, I look at them
Then share
ideally differently, right?
Then share both.
Stocks are easier. Stocks, you can look at the books, you can look at the history, you can look at who they're involved with. Like all the data is out there for you to see, right? Like a lot of people, they just have no. You can go to freaking Yahoo Finance and you can see all the information on the company. Not saying that that's always the best place to go, but it's a start, right? There's lots of better places to go to get your information. But that's a start for most normie people. So look at a company and look at its sector. And if its sector looks good, or it looks juicy, or it looks attractive, looks like it's pulling in money, aka government's investing, right? And this is where a lot of people miss the mark with the CHIPS Act, with the government, stimulating the chips market, aka Nvidia, and so on and so forth. Because if they would have paid attention to that specifically, they would have got in on Nvidia, as well as many others. Now, a lot of people tend to fade government. That's a bad take. I pay attention to what the government's doing, what they're putting money in, because they're kind of manipulating / controlling the market, whether they like to admit it or not. And then in addition to that, I look at the companies to see which ones have the strongest fundamentals within the sectors that they're investing in. If you want that as far as the easy mode, that's the easy mode play, right? I would say you can look at new upcoming companies and companies that you think that could get bought up by bigger companies that you could potentially get positions in. Like sometimes companies will buy companies and they'll split you on price. So they'll give you, the value of the company in their stock, even because they bought up, and you'll get a better valuation, getting absorbed into another company potentially. So those are always good plays, but usually absorptions can be rough. So that's always a hard one to kind of want to be involved with. Usually people want to sell out of absorptions. I would say like knowing your sectors, like healthcare, cars, EV, we'll say ESG essentially, right? So on and so forth. If you know your sectors, then you'll do really well in the stock markets. And crypto operates in a very holistic way. I take those same fundamentals and I put them in crypto, and I look at things from a sector standpoint, right? So we got entertainment. That can be games, that can be gambling, that can be a lot of different things. Then we have things like fundamentals. That could be bridges, that can be L1s, L2s, so on and so forth. And those things are kind of like, I always view it like roads and bridges. It's a little bit long-winded. But Ethereum's your bridges, your roads, everything like that. Bitcoin's your earth. It's what everything like kind of revolves around. It all revolves around Bitcoin, whether people want to admit that or not. And your roads and bridges to get everywhere are Ethereum, Polygon, at least Polygon now. And then you look at like things like BNB, even, right? Whether people want to admit it or not, that chain is used pretty heavily, usually for a lot of scams, but it's still used pretty heavily. And then you've got other chains essentially that you can utilize too within the ecosystem. And then you've got other fundamentals, right? You got stacks, you got basically like OP, which is more or less like a stack, and so on and so forth. And you don't have to know coding for say, but you just have to know what you're investing in, right? Render is what? Renders is software that helps, literally the name helps render things, right? What is rendering? Rendering is something that is needed in everything nowadays. It's needed in construction, through whether it be through 3D software that they use to be able to output things to clients. It's needed in gaming. It's needed in videos. It's needed in movies. Rendering is a big portion of the internet. So when you look at things like that, you're like, oh, this is a really solid project because it revolves around something that has actual utility and can be used in the real world. File storage. What does everything need in the world? It needs storage, right? So why do storages go ballistic in the bull run? Because storage picks up, right? Activity picks up, storage picks up, projects start launching, more and more storage is needed, cloud services, so on and so forth. They go up in price. People never buy in the bear cloud storages because they're not beautiful things, but in the bull run they do very, very well. So again, I just look at it like, how can it be utilized? Where will the money flow? Where's the money needed? ICOs, IDOs, right? That a lot of people ignore that. Getting the opportunity in a bull run to be able to get into an ICO, IDO, a lot of people see that as very attractive. And so you can see ICO, IDO coins go ballistic, right? It's basically a ticket saying, hey, you can buy into any new company that comes out. Well, granted, it's projects in crypto, but it's something that is unavailable for most people in stocks. So because it's unavailable for most people in stocks, people like to call themselves, hey, I'm a founder, or I invest in seed rounds. Okay, but you do. How many seed rounds do you invest in the real world? None, because you don't have the capital to do so. You invest in crypto because capital doesn't matter, and anybody can invest in ICO IDOs. So when you hear people sit there and brag about investing in ICO IDOs and crypto, it's like, that doesn't mean anything. You could have $1,000 and be a seed investor into some successful or non-successful project. So I throw it out there just for people's like understanding, because it goes a lot deeper than what most people think when it comes to finance and understanding finance. But like, man, it's a deep conversation, deep conversation. But that's the way I view it, right? Entertainment's always great. Lots of money in entertainment, but entertainment only pays when people have money. So if you're buying into entertainment too early, aka gaming, movies, so on and so forth, you could be holding those bags for a while until the bull run comes back.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Good stuff. All right, this is a joke, by the way. I wanted to have something to put Capo's face up there for, man. We have a little Capo sticker. I don't think that's happening. That'd be entertaining, though. That'd be entertaining. But I want to talk about this, guys. I want to talk about this. I think that ETH is the sleeping giant, gentlemen. I think that ETH is the sleeping giant. And to put it even into further context, this is a low time frame look at ETH BTC. But I think we're at least due, for a nice little dead cat bounce kind of thing, back up to retest this trend line. For ETH BTC, that would be 0.057 and change, give or take, maybe a little bit higher. And I actually think we probably come back and reclaim it. And it could maybe do something like this. I was actually looking at SUI this morning. See how we broke below this wedge on SUI, ticker SUI. Yes. So this little move right here, this could be kind of what we're
I remember people memeing SUI a couple weeks ago, and now look at it.
Well, dude, that's what I was talking about. I had this tweet. I'm gonna get rid of Capo's face now. We're gonna put this on.
Hey, do you remember, Max? Didn't we have a buy call on SUI in the Giga Chat Discord before this move? I think we did.
Yeah.
This is Ronaldo coin, man.
So, yeah, I tweeted this yesterday, man. Look, Let's talk about Link for a sec. We'll go back to ETH BTC and Sui. Okay. Everybody, myself included, made fun of all the Link Marines. I ripped on Tucker for being a Link Marine in here. How could I not? Tucker, the Link Marine, was stuck here in this range between $8 and $5 for 525 days, man. That is the range of death. Okay.
And look at it now, Max.
But look what happens when you break out of the range of death.
It pays to be a Marine.
If you were
I was like, what is going on?
okay, if you were an accumulator down here in the range of death, look at what happened. You're probably up 2.5, 3x potentially from where you bought it. 2.5x most likely in a very short period of time. When you spend this amount of time, 525 days accumulating, and you break out, that is not a move that you look to fade. All right, you're along for the ride, and what a move it has been. Congratulations to the Link Marines. But from a sentiment perspective, why this is so interesting is we were asking the question, why does Link even need a token? Why does Link need a token? Well, we were right here. Why does Link need a token? Link shouldn't have a token. It should go to 0. And guess what? Now, after the breakout,
It still doesn't need a token, Max.
no.
Now it needs a token.
Now it needs a token, and now it's the future of finance. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the best project ever. Now it's the best project ever. All right.
Look,
Now,
when
that's
bags
what-
are involved,
Okay.
there's no better project than the project your bags are involved with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When you're making money, when price is going up, the technology is revolutionary, it's disruptive, and it's groundbreaking.
Yes.
And it's a competitor to Google. Keep that in mind.
Dude, it's
Whatever-
not even, it's in a different league. It's not even competing. It's
Google's
gonna
trying to
over-
catch up to Link.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Thank you, Will.
Google's trying to
Thank you.
catch up.
A salient point, Will. Now,
But when you show Link at $5 to people, they will tell you are an idiot. And if you tell them now take profits, they'll tell you, no, it's revolutionizing the world, man. You are an idiot.
And you're an idiot again, Jackus. Don't forget. You're an idiot in both directions.
you're an idiot for hitting a 2.5x. Now, let's talk about ETH. All right, it's very easy to make fun of Ethereum when the ETH BTC valuation looks like this. I mean, this is truly like the limp meat of all limp meat patterns right here, man. I mean, this is
Let's say
not
we're at the
good.
top.
This is not good. All right. However, for this part of the market cycle in Q4, it is not uncommon to see ETH BTC get absolutely abused. However, we're really just, let's go to the higher time frames. We're really just coming back to this, maybe transition zone, okay, from where we really left behind all of this price action and we marked up, okay? And I have a feeling that next cycle, we're probably going to mark up again, and this right here is going to be equivalent to this down here. Okay, will it make a new all-time high? I don't know. I don't care. However, ETH is bad technology right now because the number's not going up, right? Everybody's looking at this going, ETH has been consolidating for 525 days, and we're about to break down. 3-figure ETH is coming up. Okay, I suppose it's possible. Anything is possible. But we're seeing a lot of coins like Link that are easier to move because their market caps are smaller, hitting these big rotations and breakouts of their previous consolidation zones. So all I'm saying is right now, ETH BTC, the narrative is, oh, the spot ETF. DeFi failed. Everything failed. NFTs failed. The whole thing, right? Because it looks like this. But I'm telling you, when the rotation happens and ETH breaks out of this 525-day range, do not fade it. Okay. And I don't think it's going to necessarily go up as much as Link did.
It will.
94%. Jackus, actually, that is Jackus's price target, 3,600. If I'm not mistaken. Okay, you know what? Maybe it will. I don't know.
Eventually.
Eventually. Look, if I'm wrong in it, if it goes above my price targets of like 2,500, 2,600, then fantastic. It will serve me better. I hope I'm wrong. But I want to point this out. If Ethereum breaks out of this range, look out. Okay. because everybody's dogging on it. It's bad tech because the ETH BTC chart looks like this. All right. And the USD chart hasn't moved yet. But guess what? Q4 is usually always pretty crappy for ETH. And you want to be in before the rotation happens. You want to be in before the rotation happens, not halfway through it. So I'm excited about ETH. I think it's going to move. I think it's severely lagging. I think people are going to chase beta. And by the way, I was also accumulating ETH aggressively down in here. Okay. And I remember seeing a lot of Bitcoin maxi spaces. Basically, just it was calling for the death of ETH BTC. And I know Tommy remembers that one too. It was like literally marked the bottom. It was ETH BTC breaks below 0.02, death of Ethereum. That was the title of the space.
It's really funny to see Udi in that or Udi in that space. I remember he used to be such a Bitcoin maxi, and now he's like a total shitcoiner.
Max,
I'm gonna get rid of this. Yeah.
Could I steal the screen real quick?
No. That's
Will, it's called stealing. You have to steal.
Look, it doesn't. I don't see the steal option at the bottom. Okay.
You know what? I have a confession to make, Will.
You've been blocking me from doing it. I know.
No. I'm not blocking you. You have to be an admin on the account. We just haven't added your email.
You can't do it. Why can't you do it?
You're not an admin, Will.
He's not an admin. I wanted you to think that this whole time you were just old and couldn't figure out how to do it. Yeah. Not that you were dumb, just that you were an old man.
I don't know that you can even have more than 3.
I knew you guys were trolling me. The whole time.
Here's the screen, Will. Fine. There you go.
Because I went through every single option on here. There's nothing on here to take it.
You're just old, Will. You missed it.
So this is the conversation that I had with you guys a little while back. And we talked about this in here. All right. And I was like, Link right before the halving, boom, into the halving, boom. Right. Link right before the halving, boom, and then into the halving, boom. And a lot of people they miss it, man. They miss it every single. And if you look here, we came back and we retested price perfectly. Came back, use it as support, and this is really what I think is kind of building here, regardless of how people feel about the token, regardless of anything else. Like I'm just looking at it from a pure price point speculation type move, right? Like how's the pattern look? What does the pattern look like? I mean, to me, like this breakout, it only signifies exactly what I was thinking was happening over here, right? The same exact scenario. And we're seeing it already. We've already broken out of the consolidation range. I think Link continues to drive. And I think if you look here, last time this happened, Link was able to drive above previous all-time high before the halving. So if that ends up happening again, that means Link should see prices. I'm thinking degradation, right? I'm not thinking that Link is, in some Super Bowl like it was over here. I'm thinking degradation, which means we're going to see less upside. So I'm thinking Link up here, right? Like maybe revisiting all-time high going into the halving and then finally breaking above all-time high in the halving. Right. And this is where everybody thinks that Link is revolutionary. This is the time to buy, guys, at 10-20x off the floor. There's no better price to buy because I was too scared to buy much lower. But now is the time. Now is the time to pull the trigger. This is my whole thesis when people talk about I need to buy above 30K or I need to buy above 40K or I need to buy above 50K or I need to buy above 60K is because like, okay, you're buying up. You're not buying down. And I'm not saying you should buy down. You let the market come down to an area, consolidate, and then buy the consolidation, right? And then if price breaks down in, guess what? You're screwed, but at least you bought the consolidation, right? You didn't buy the drawdown phase.
I have a question here, guys, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, Willa, because I like Link ETH from the standpoint of showing Link's macro trends. And I wanted to pose the question, if Link is going to move as aggressively as people think, into the halving, wouldn't it make sense to hold Link instead of Ethereum and then make the rotation afterward, after Link ETH kind of tops out? Because I remember, the Link ETH bottom was, obviously it was the time to buy Link, but I want to say that it has a different structure, or it took longer to form that basing structure. Or no, it Link ETH was bleeding while Link USD was chopping. And so, but Link ETH breaking out was actually the signal, I want to say, something like that. I remember talking about it on this show many, many months ago, like probably back when we first started doing Market Check. We talked about the Link ETH pair, and it's Link's outperformance against Ethereum as the potential signal for a new cycle.
Well, it outperformed last time.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing.
That's what
Like
I'm
it
saying.
did outperform last time.
That's what I'm
And-
saying. I'm asking, do you think it would be smarter to hold Link over Ethereum until the Link ETH pair tops out if cyclically it's going to perform with similar timing?
Here's the thing, and you're on the correct route, Snarks. I want 100% say that. The thing that a lot of people don't understand, any alt is better to hold than Ethereum if you're looking for upside, right? It just some are more consistent than others, right? So Link is more consistent. Other ones will see spikes and then die.
It's about the timing.
Right? It's all about the timing, right? It's are you in the right one for that rotation? But almost every single altcoin out there will outpace Ethereum, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, and I've seen this across the board. And so I know Ethereum is the safer play, 100%, right? 100% it's a safer play. But low liquidity will see much more upside than high liquidity in a bull market. And Link arguably has way less liquidity than Ethereum. Right? So the upside is exponential.
Definitely has less
in comparison.
But
and
Link
that's
is still a pretty large market cap as well. You know, it's not like an on-chain.
But that's like everybody right now who's saying $1 billion market caps are not worth investing in. And I'm like, you're completely offsides on that one. Because
so look at this. Look at this. This is, I think, what Tommy was talking about here. This is Chainlink ETH up top, and here's ETH USD. Look at when Chainlink really began moving and breaking away. ETH USD was straight down.
That should scare you, Max.
Mm-hmm.
That should frighten you.
It's just an outpace. That's all it is. It doesn't mean ETH has to go down in price. It just means ETH could literally stay stagnant the whole freaking time, and Link's just
it's about the context.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean by that. It's context of what's actually occurring, and that a lot of people look at this and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Ethereum's going to come down." It's like, no, that's not necessarily the case at all.
No, right? It doesn't have to happen. But the last time Link ripped like this, it did. So.
No, but it could also just go sideways, which I think sideways is just as painful as down.
Bear market, so it is kind of tough to gauge exactly how it's going to perform this time. But I like Link ETH because I've seen people talk about it as kind of like Link being the first major DeFi token to start moving. I think even before AAVE really started moving as aggressively as it did, is kind of the signal for DeFi against ETH, right? Or it's
yes.
In DeFi. That's why the Link ETH there.
Aave is really kind of catching some attention too, and I'm just I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, utility is catching attention right now. It's utility, right? That's why I think L1s are catching attention and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I think here's the thing: everybody didn't want to buy Ethereum until Ethereum was $3,000. And then nobody wanted to sell Ethereum until Ethereum was $800. And it's funny how it plays every single cycle, because people are like, well, it's a safe play. What did you get out of it? 25% move? 3,000 to 4,000 is only 25% move. But the reality is like, if let's say Ethereum does exponentials from here. I mean, the most I could see out of Ethereum is a 3-4x. It's like buying Bitcoin.
But here's the difference, Will. Here's the difference, Will. And by the way, Remy, thank you so much for the super sticker. Greatly appreciated. We made $10 on this show, guys. Look at us. We made $10.
You know what he wants? He wants Celestia, brother. He wants Celestia.
Okay, we got Celestia. Hang on, but here's the difference, Will. Here's the difference, Will. Yes, maybe ETH is only a 3 to 5x or something like that. But the difference is big money has confidence that it's not going to be a rug pull. So instead of betting $100,000 on some little micro cap startup, They can throw $1 billion at ETH, and they don't have to worry about the contract rugging.
No,
That's the difference.
I agree, Max, and I wouldn't say go throw $100,000 in a micro. What I'm stating is Bitcoin and Ethereum are almost in the same realm as far as X's, right? That's more or less what I'm saying. And if you're going to take that play, then you're going to take the higher liquidity play, which is going to be Bitcoin. But I did want to point out though too, because I gotta hop off camera here in a minute. I just want to talk about oil for like a second, and then we can roll back to the conversation if that's okay. Just because I got the chart up.
Anything for you, Will?
Thanks for that. So this has kind of been my play for oil for a while on a cool down phase / breakout phase, but it's basically been since the 2008 oil scenario. But we had the breakdown into the breakout into the breakdown into the breakout and the breakdown, and now we're compressing to the upside, right? And really, we got like a 3 tap high is what I'm looking for here. But if you look at the price now, granted, if we were to break above this C, I would think that we have good opportunity to go really freaking high. I don't think that's going to necessarily happen, but we'll see how that plays out. But with U.S. oil, it's been getting pretty juicy here. I think a lot of people are super bared up right here, and I think you're just on the wrong side of the play here. We discussed it this morning. I showed you guys the play from the White House. They're going to be buying between $76 and $67 a barrel to refill reserves, which is going to take a lot of oil. So I'd expect support to be around that area to be ranging. I do not expect this to become a full-on breakdown. But if we look at this from a high time frame support scenario, a lot of people are probably, again, are re-gearing up to buy in this zone. You got 1, 2, 3 taps at the low here. I think this is a higher low, personally, structure-wise. You basically had the breakout or false breakout here, breakdown, false breakout here, breakdown, and now you've got the break above, and now you kind of played that as support. And then you broke back below it. Now you're playing the mid-range again. This is kind of like your POC, more or less, where price likes to hover around this price zone. Now, if you were to go bearish, you would flip under. But I think price remains above. And what I think structurally this turns into is a higher low, personally. And you guys are hearing it here first on the show, because I bet everybody's going to say I called it after this happens, not before. So I think we're going to bounce right in this POC that we're seeing. And keep in mind, I didn't use any indicator to identify this POC. It's just very obvious to me. You can see where POCs are just basically where price is the most active. It's the most active in this area right here, right? Why is it the most active in this area right here? Because this POC comes all the way back to resistance over here for oil, right? You got all the way over there.
Action is disgusting, man.
It look, I'm not saying it's pretty. Right, oil's always been a dirty chart. But if we look at your support and your resistances, again, this plays all the way back to 06. I could probably pull it back further, to be honest with you. But this is that point of control where you want to really pay attention, because I think that oil in this area specifically could rip off this zone, right? I think like we come up here, we're sitting here, everybody's short right here. Everybody's short position on the oil right here. And everybody's anticipating this. Like you're completely high if you think this is going to happen again. Like it's almost like the 2008 banking crisis. What did they do? They put in a bunch of different scenarios to where that can never happen again. I guarantee oil, we're sitting on the same thing. You're not going to see $0. We're going to pay you to hold oil again. It's just not going to happen. But if you look here, we swung, right? Swung, rolled, came back, retraced the move, and we're kind of circling out of the low here. I think we're going to higher low at this position, and then I think we're going to kind of start playing this to the upside. And I think you play back into this resistance right here. Good luck, because if that ends up playing, you're going to break out in a big way, right? And you could end up, if it's all the way over here, you could be at what Jack is talking about, 200 a barrel, whatnot, so on and so forth. I'm just looking for a recapture. This is what I'm looking for specific. I'm looking for a recapture of the trap liquidity here. Now, some people be like, there's no trap liquidity there. It's more about how price moves, right? Price tends to rebalance in both directions. And I just think it's more of a rebalancing of the price, right? You got to get people trapped at or above where they were trapped before. Because if the market allowed itself to be trapped here, it will definitely allow itself to be trapped a second time here, right? These are points of interest where markets will go. And so markets tend to come back to these areas of high interest and try to recapture price in those zones. So I think oil could roll out of this into a very bullish stance, and we could be ideally looking at a move much, much higher.
That would imply inflation kind of comes back in a big way, right?
I do think that
Okay.
happens.
So you're thinking
do-
we're in like a
That happens.
stagflationary
That happens.
1970s
Yes.
style of like 1, 2, 3 drives of inflation above
Yep.
7%, maybe.
Yeah, I think we go back to high inflationary environment probably in the next couple of years.
Wow, it's over if that happens.
Well, the thing is like at that point, Powell is out of office. We got a new Fed chairman, right? And they got to deal with the problem, and
Yeah.
that could be a Volcker, right? It could be a Volcker. We don't know.
Okay. No, I think that's a great point. Guys, we do need to we do need to get the likes up on this video, guys. I have to badger you just a little bit here. We're doing really well today. We're at 38, but we got a big audience today, guys. We got 50 people watching. I think our TP today is going to be 50 likes while we're on stream. So, guys, if you are enjoying the content so far, please consider just taking one quick moment. It's the only favor I'm going to ask of you, besides the second one I ask after the first one. But this is the only favor that I'm going to ask you. Please just take one moment, hit that thumbs up button for us. It does wonders for the channel. The reason we are able to grow so quickly is because of you guys. So please make sure you're signed into your YouTube account. Hit that thumbs up button for us. Furthermore, if you are new here, maybe you found us through Twitter or just randomly on YouTube, we are Because Bitcoin, and this is Market Check, our daily show brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We go live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern time. And this is our entire cast right here. We got Snorlax, myself, Tucker, Jackus, and Will's Outlook. We talk charts, we talk markets, we talk narratives, and it's just a constant hour and a half dump of alpha for you guys. So please like. Don't just tease the like button, smash the like button. I want pictures of broken mouses sent to my DM on Twitter, okay? Guys, please hit that thumbs up button for us. Let's see if we can hit 50 likes. We are at almost 40. Doing okay. Doing pretty well, but thanks so much for being here, guys. Tucker, are you going to
I'm
hit
gonna
the TIA for
click
us?
on Celestia for the boys. Yeah.
All right,
So
That's a pretty heavy POC there, man. Look at that.
Remy. Oh, you think I don't already have it drawn, Will?
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at that consolidation range, and that's tightening
brother.
too. That's tightening too. Yeah.
This is kind of what we want to see. I think there's kind of two paths. I think either you break these highs and just go, or you get the PO3 little deviation of this, and then you can spring.
And Tucker, that little, if it did the PO3, kind of looks like what Link did on the higher time frames. You know what
it does.
I think the better question here is, and I think this is what most of the audience probably likes. What would you do in this scenario, Tucker? Would you risk the PO3, or would you take the position now if you were looking for this type of?
I would nibble because, I mean, why not, right? I mean, you're talking about not on leverage, right? And I would nibble spot, but I mean, you're talking about a 10% drawdown. Like, if you're talking about a fresh altcoin, that's nothing, right? So,
what I like about airdrops is that you can usually they will somewhat mimic the price action of the last one. I feel like we can like WorldCoin could be something where price action was printed similarly. I haven't even taken a look, but that's just like the most recent chart that I could think of. Right? I mean, that's like, at least if you're trying to scalp it, right?
Yeah. Well, with Celestia, I mean, I've seen a lot on Twitter, and Wabi's talked about it in our Discord, right? Their tokenomics are technically not good, but like it's a huge VC coin that got in at like 1 cent, so they're up 250x or whatever. But they don't have unlocks for a year.
They're up. They're up. They got in at a cent.
They got in at a cent.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
They don't unlock. They don't unlock for a year, so it's like.
Look,
They say.
but I'll say this. Look, if I were in this coin, because we don't know what other stuff they got. You know how these wallets are.
Will, you sound like you're in this coin.
No. Listen. I am in this coin. But look, if I were in this coin,
I am this coin.
I like to always entertain this, but
you know what the tip off for me was, and then I'm gonna get it back to you, Will, is you said to Tucker, the way you framed your question of Would you nibble here? Or would you wait for the PO3? Was like Tucker reaffirm I should be in this shit. Come on,
Tell
come
me
on.
that I'm good. Yeah.
I don't want to see this go to 220.
It wasn't really for me reaffirm. I know a lot of people are like, hey, I need you to build confidence in me. I have enough confidence in my move. I just want the audience to think about things from like a broader standpoint. Like, I'm going to wait for the low. That's all bears have been doing the whole year. I'm going to wait for a lower position. But the point that I wanted to get to is like, if this were to happen, Tucker, what I would do is I would probably drop all of my position outside of some profit. Just saying, like this. That's all I'm saying. Like,
oh, you're saying if this played out up here?
Yep.
Yeah.
You would cut the.
No way I'd hold that,
bro. If we go to 360, you're in
chance.
from 220. Like, just shave. Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
Shave.
You have to. I mean, I own it too. I literally bought a little bit and then I just staked it I'm usually not a staker, but I was like,
you kind of are, Tucker. You kind of
are
a staker.
He does.
No.
You're like one of the only guys I know that like always has something staked.
I mean,
me and him
liquid.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, but Tucker,
yeah.
we were playing the base swap at 400%.
That's true. That was fun.
Even though we lost some on the initial, the percentage on staking was
no,
nuts.
we won because we bought it at $5. It went down to $1. I doubled my position at $1, so my break even was like 180, and then I staked it for like 600% for like a month. So
yeah,
like,
it was obscene. It was
it was some degeneracy for sure, but. No, I think Celestia does well. I think it does well in the bull market too. So I mean, even if Bitcoin comes back to like 30K and this thing like PO3s even down to like $2, 210 somewhere in here, like add some more, right? That's what I'm probably gonna do. But
I wanted to show you guys this chart. I wanted to show you. I was about to show it. Will wanted to talk about oil real quick, but I wanted to just wrap this up. I think that ETH BTC is going to do something like this, guys. I think it's certainly possible that this is just like deviation territory. And again, it's not going to look exactly like this. This is SUI. This is ETH BTC, different time frames and everything, but the patterns play out. The patterns play out. So I'm looking for something like this, and we'll see if it plays out.
No, I like that pattern, Max, because a lot of people don't even realize what we call these as false failed breakdowns. So usually the breakout patterns tend to break down before they break out, and the breakout patterns tend to break down or break out before they break down. And it's an atypical with these falling and rising wedges. A lot of people get played because they think that the breakout has broken down, and then it reverses back through, or they think that the breakout, or they think the breakdown has broken out and then are broken down, and now they're I'm confusing that completely, but they think that the real move is false, essentially, right?
Because it's just a bear trap. It's just a bear trap or a bull trap, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's the exact same as what happened up here on SUI. I just like this example because it's available and it's right here. But look at this, like this move right here, fake breakout, right? And then down, right? And then the real move happens, So even here, right? Same thing. Bull trap too early. Oh no, like this is the move. No, that's the move. It's the same thing. It's just market psychology. You have to fade the obvious. You have to fade the obvious. So that's all I wanted. I just wanted to wrap that point up.
But that's essentially what I would say, Max, to add context to that conversation. This is why you have validations and invalidations. Validations is price comes back into your zone and validates above your previous support, right? Or it comes back below your resistance or your support and now becomes resistance. Those are validations and so on and so forth. Invalidations is when it does break down, then you have to play the invalidation until you're revalidated, right? And that's what a lot of people have a hard time concept when it comes to trading. If you can just take the invalidation, if you have to take some drawdown, you take some drawdown, right? Which means that you get out of the position when you're invalidated. But if you're revalidated, you have to re-enter. You have to. If you always stick to those type of convictions when you're in a play, it's so easy to stay in it, right? And I've done that time and time again. But the only way that those tend to work, the invalidations, the validations on high time frames. If you're on the 15-minute, 20-minute, hour, 4-hour, you can easily get invalidated and revalidated and invalidated again because you're in a chop area, right? But those high time frame invalidations to revalidations, they play much smoother.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Look at this look at this channel, and Jackus and I have both. I think everybody actually probably has drawn this channel over the past like 2 weeks, but I mean, you really got stuffed right where you have been getting stuffed most of the time.
What price zone is that, Tucker, for our audio listeners?
For our audio listeners, I mean, it's a diagonal trend line, so it's a bit hard to say, but 35.5 here, 35.2. 34.8, right? Like this.
It's the mid-range of this vertical accumulation channel that we've been in.
What's the high and the low of that vertical accumulation that we've been in, roughly, right? Percentage wise, let's just talk percentage. We don't have to talk numbers. What's the high and the low? So if you were to take a ruler and go from the low end of this channel to the high end of this channel, what is the chop zone percentage? Yes,
I mean 8%.
So we've been chopping in a range of roughly 8% in an upwards accumulation range. Is basically what you're stating.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to get out there for the listener.
I think if you're bullish too, wait, let me get rid of this. I think if you're bullish, you need to protect this candle right here at all costs.
Call out a level, brother.
Okay, guys. Sorry. You got to protect basically 35K, 34.8. I would look for the midpoint, this FVG, maybe. It kind of tapped it at 35.1, basically. Can
you drag that all the way to the left there, Tucker? Let's just see where that comes across. I always like to look at the current FVG and look at how it lines up with previous pricing. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
So that seems to have been resistance for quite a bit, and we're now using that as support, that 35.1.
Yeah, we tapped it. This candle right here is interesting.
How many months was that resistance for? Weeks or days, roughly?
Just the last week or so.
Last week, okay.
2 weeks, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, but
and for those in the audience who may not know, data science is a real degree, and a lot of those guys, how they look at these ranges, how we look at them as charts, they just look at them as ranges, and that's why I'm bringing up these things specifically. Is our chop range has been 8% for 2 weeks. Our resistance range has been roughly around 35K for about 2 weeks, and now we're above that range for roughly about 2-3 days. And if we continue to remain above here, this can validate for price to remain and chop higher in a higher range area, right? That means 35K would then be your floor, and whatever the high is, 36, whatever, will be your high, at least for the monthly open, monthly close. You can always look at it from doing those ranges.
Yeah, I think if you kind of break here, you go higher, most likely.
Yeah, you'll probably feel that wick, I would say, if you get above that.
This is your zone, though.
Which is roughly around 35.5.
Yeah, it's about 35.5.
Here, yeah, 35.5. You'd break it, yeah. So,
and then where would the top of that wick be? Roughly about 36.
Almost.
If we were to fill that
35.9, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tommy, what are you seeing out there? What's the derivatives data telling you?
I was actually just looking at the derivatives data right now, Max.
Is it hot?
I could see it in your eyes.
I need to hear those numbers, Tommy. Numbers.
No, I mean, there's nothing really too notable this morning, honestly. I mean, let's see what came in from a standpoint. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, nothing really too notable this morning. We're just kind of moving.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Can check I mean, yeah, no, nothing really too notable this morning. Wish I had more on that front, but came into a low, swept it, and we're getting a reaction from it.
It just seems like they really want to take this thing higher, man. Just every little drop sucked right back up.
Well, that's they're going to
I think-
as
I
long as
think we-
liquidity. God, I make a joke.
Good.
You
Who's
go ahead,
cooking?
Jackus.
Go.
Who's
Someone
cooking?
needs to cook. We're hungry.
All right, so no, I think as long as you can find activity and interest, they'll continue to bring this thing higher, right? When we start to see resistance, that means that interest is starting to wane, and when interest starts to wane is when we'll see that distributive top. But I don't think we're there yet. I think there's still a lot of interest. I mean, spaces are popping off right now. If you look at Twitter, which means that interest activity is going up, at least from the people speculating, right? And you can tell the speculators from the investors, because the speculators are the additional 300, 400, 500 to 1,000 people in the rooms that were not there in the bear, right? And those are the people that are looking for entries and activity and looking for ways to get into the market. So they always tend to come in at the worst possible times, but it's something to definitely pay attention to. But go ahead, Jackets.
I just want to say I can see on the lower time frames on ETH that it pulls back one more time to like 1868 and then continues higher.
Do you have a chart for that, Jackus?
I always have charts.
I will say we did add about 50 or 60 million in Bybit OI since,
That was Tucker. Don't worry, it's just Tucker.
And
He
what's
won't
the
close.
funding? What's the funding?
it's fairly mixed. I would say if bulls flip 35.5, then positioning is probably fine.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Listen, I just opened TradingView and it tells me an important interruption. It looks like you need to clarify whether you may or may not qualify as a non-professional subscriber.
I had to do that
What?
this morning too.
It
Yeah.
costs more if you say yes, so just say no.
Yeah. Just say no.
I'm
Wait.
non-professional, all right?
No. I don't even know how I got here.
Dude, that's there is no option for that. Okay, I'm non-professional, of course.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go,
Jackets
Pepe
alpha
Jr.
incoming.
Oh no, he's gonna dump on you, but he's gonna dump alpha on you.
Will this time be different?
Jackus doesn't dump. He doesn't dump bags on his followers. He dumps alpha on his followers. Here comes the dump, guys.
Is
All
this
right.
gonna be the one?
Here we go.
Let's see.
I want you to explain, Jackus, why ETH could dump again, because I think it's just going to go to 4,000 in like a 6-minute candle. So
4,000.
4,000.
just kidding. I mean, that'd be cool. But
Just just playing with the lower time frames. You know that lower time frames are playground for me, but don't take me granted there. It's higher time frames where I'm yet to find a competitor. Just joking. But higher time frames really do work for me, and I think I'm very confident there. Lower time frames is just a playground. I do understand the concepts, but I still like there is a wide range of variety for market makers to just fuck people around way more than they can do that on the weekly. So what I'm seeing here is that we took these tops down here and had a very nice impulsive leg higher that took all these tops, and right now we have bounced back. That's normal. There was the downtrend that was broken, and we are creating liquidity right here, right? This was the box of when was it? It was actually all the way from yesterday, like let's say this whole day Asia session and all the way up until New York. And from here, we had these two equal highs. We have broken above those just right now. People getting excited. But what do we have here? Here we took stops. Here we are retesting the M15 supply. that took the stops right from that Asia session, and I could see us, we have created some nice liquidity down here on these two lows. So I could see the market coming for those and retesting this breaker that it had teased. Many people wanted to take the long here, and what market makers always love to do is, so like this is the trade many people wanted to take right here. It front run again, and then you are watching the position, you start to get anxious, it starts to go up, and then you're like, okay, it's not coming down there anymore. I'm buying here on the breakout because we are going to 4,000 in 160-minute candle. And then what
I said
instead
6 minute
happens-
candle, not 60. I said 6 minutes.
Okay. I need to.
Way different.
Okay. Okay. Maybe some are taking like these two longs, whatever is maybe even some with safer stop loss, whatever. And then this is a just once again lower time frame playground. If this was on a higher time frame, I'd give it much more probability. Here it can really just continue higher because it's lower time frame. But it could also happen lower time frames, and I could see this one dumping back down, retesting this breaker, and then making a sweep below these two lows, and then we head higher. Ultimately, it's pretty obvious that we are going way higher. I mean, bears. I love this one though. I love this one, guys. This is some alpha. So we had this very nice downtrend, right? And we have broken through confluence. This is like the confluence you want. You had this insane level of supply that broken the local structure, not the hard time frame structure, because that's this like, as I keep on reminding. So this level, when we did reclaim it, and look at that, we had a confluence of this daily close, right? This daily rejection right inside of it, and now we've broken above. So you have a confluence of I do not know if we do come back to retest it. It's possible not, because we have already dipped there on the daily with the wick, so that might have been it. Even if we come back down there one more time, which is still possible, where we don't respect the M15 breaker and we just do something like this, as people are getting excited here with leverage, we wipe and then go higher. But higher is to be expected. Higher is the trend. Dips are for buying. That's what you want to know. Also, I could see, if we do dip lower, there would be nice RSI hidden bull diff, confluent with the context of this level being broken, this rejection right here. And what I keep on reminding, this is the big ETH play. Everyone's shitting on ETH. I love those types of trades because that's where I can prove haters wrong once again. Nice sentiment, and especially if it makes sense like this. So everyone's shitting on Ether. I think we do break higher, right? Sooner or later in the next few days, we go to the range highs. That's basically a done deal right now. There is no, once we have flipped this and we have flipped this level, there is no resistance above all the way until here. Okay, that's done deal. 2000 is done deal at this point. What happens after is a good question. And many people will be looking for deep pullback to buy, whether it's to this level. I don't think we are getting that anymore. Some will be looking for a pullback to here. I don't think we're getting that either anymore. If we do dip, especially if we do dip on the daily one more time down there, I do not think we are getting that level anymore. And what most likely happens, once again, is where we get this, maybe if you are lucky, we get this reaccumulation right here. And it stays something like that. This is where people will be waiting first for the retest after, but they will also be waiting for this deeper pullback. It doesn't come, so at least everyone on the sidelines again, plus wreck the bears, and then you get the giant intermarket correlation fractal with link that Max was showing, where Ether keeps going, and surely there will be stops on the way. Like I can see us, for example, maybe it stops at like I do not know, like somewhere right here. Maybe it retests, maybe something like, I cannot know, but I think this will be very short lived, and there is really no resistance all the way up down there. People always mistakenly think that these are big resistances, but they are not resistances unless you have another dip right here, and we don't have that. So there really isn't much, and it should move higher all the way up to here. And then we'll see, but there is just big upside ahead. And that's, by the way, the bullish case for Ether BTC. ETH BTC will follow the moment we start breaking this higher. So, like, oh no, we go back. Yeah, so yeah, that's still my case for Ether. All in all, there was a good discussion, guys, between like what's the play. Isn't it better to put it into alts? Are they gonna outperform ETH? Obviously, man. Like ETH is gonna outperform BTC, Sol is gonna outperform ETH, and low cap shitcoins are gonna outperform Sol. So like it's always about the market caps. The lower the market cap, the higher the returns. But then also lower the downside after. So like once we get the bullish conditions, the lower market cap shitcoins, it's very easy for them to do, 10x, 100x, 1000x, and so on. Very easy because the liquidity is small, very little bag holders, small market cap, easy to move the price. The problem is that many of these projects then don't survive the next cycle. Whereas like with Ether and BTC, they have already established themselves and are here to stay, right? So if you are looking to just, so it's really about like what are the people's approach. If you are mainly into BTC and you already think Sol is too risky, then ETH is for you. Maybe you just want to use this Sol play to understand where alts are going and use that as an alt proxy, to buy alts if you understand that ETH is going higher. So it has many use cases for anyone. Like for example, me, I look at gold and silver. I do own some physical, but I use them mainly as a proxy to understand where BTC is going. And then if I understand where BTC is going, I know where Ether is going. And when I know where Ether is going, I know where alts are going. So it's like this all interconnected right curve approach to the markets. But if you just want to play it left curve, go on, Will. I'll
No, I just wanted to add to what you're saying because I feel like this is consistently a conversation with people, and they're not getting the context right. What is the context?
Yeah.
Are you looking for safety? Are you looking for high risk? What is high risk? High risk means you can literally lose your money. It can go to zero, right? It means they can rug you. What is low risk? It's less likely to go to zero, so it's a safer play. Everybody's always asked like, oh well, what if something outpaces ETH? I think a lot of the time that question stems from the thought process that everything is safe. I just need to go with the better play, which is whatever play will outperform whatever, right? And
Bro, look at that chart,
outperformance-
Will. Will, look at that chart. I'm sorry to cut you off. Look at that thing.
Which one?
Tommy,
The
what are you
Ethereum chart?
smiling at?
Oh, I was just laughing at the thought of like my shit coins going to zero in the past. I thought they would hold up better than ETH.
That's what I'm saying. Like people don't get the context of, like, hey, yeah, it can do 100x, but guess what? If you don't capitalize on it, you could literally lose everything that you have in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beta to beta.
Yeah.
It's safety versus non-safety. Non-safety. Look,
yes.
I was playing scams in 2021. I knew they were scams. I just knew that I had to get out before they scammed me.
Yeah. And then at the top, it's always about convincing people how that scam is not a scam. And they start believing this is the project.
That's
and
when you
then
know to get out, and
everything-
when you start actually believing the narratives. You're like, oh yeah, man, this this coin is really like, I love what they're doing. The community's strong and they're going to be around for a long time. Sell it, man. Get out. Never different.
Sell everything.
There's a
If
few
you
that
sell
will,
now,
but
you're a
most won't.
Jeet. Don't forget. They always say that. They always call you a Jeet in every community if you sell. And when they start calling me a Jeet, I'm like, I'm dropping my whole bag. Enjoy.
I mean, Sol might stay here for a long time, but it still went minus 95% or something, right? So,
Dude, all these altcoins, you have to view them as they have to flow back into Bitcoin and ETH. Like even Sol, I'm sorry guys, like even if Sol goes to $300 or $800, those profits need to flow back into Bitcoin. You don't.
Oh yeah.
Not even need. They will.
Bitcoin is the only one that I feel remotely confident in saying it will be here 100 years from now. I can't say the same about anything else.
100 years. Wow.
Maybe even more, 1,000 years.
Well, I'm not going to be around for 1,000 years.
Hey man, you never biotech.
Maybe you're gonna invest in a project that stores your brain, and then you're gonna wake up 1,000 years later, Tucker.
I don't think I'd want to do that, man. I think I'm good. Like when I'm done here, I think I'm done.
For sure. Be awesome. Flying cars? Come on.
Nah, bro. They've been saying flying. We were supposed to have flying cars like a decade ago.
I know, but they'll do it eventually.
Hey,
they won't even let Elon do his self-driving thing. Man. They're not giving you flying cars.
But we're very close to self-driving. We are really, really freaking close to self-driving. And a lot of people don't
crash all the time?
Look, that's not the point. The point being is we are close.
Not about the crash, Tucker.
Yeah, it's the crashes.
It's not about the crash.
Look, rockets exploded a lot when they were first created. Now it's a lot less likely a rocket's going to explode when they go to space, right? It's instead of it being like a 75-25, your rocket's going to explode 75. Now it's your rocket's going to explode 25-75. It's going to be the same thing with self-driving, right? Self-driving is never going to be perfect. But at the end of the day, the fact that we've even gotten technology this far is massive. But I can tell you this, look, I watch people every single cycle talk about Bitcoin. Every single one, they're like, oh, this is the one where it dies, Ethereum takes over, blah, 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 and that's what it is, blah, blah. And you end up seeing Bitcoin outperform everything when it comes to the bear market. And I think it's going to continue that way forever. Blockchain is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is blockchain. And essentially everything else exists around this ecosystem. And just like the sun in our ecosystem, right? Without the sun, nothing else exists. Without Bitcoin, nothing else exists in there.
Pancake will.
Beta is all about timing rather than any fundamental narrative.
Yes.
Timing,
exactly. If you can't time beta, then don't play beta. That's basically it.
Jackus, can you please narrate what you have up here?
And we'll start cooking.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Flying cars. That's cool.
We're not getting flying cars, man. We're not getting flying cars.
We are, but I mean, we guys talked about Apple before we started the show. So it was actually when we talked about we don't want to be here in the next 1,000 years. He actually was the one that said death is most likely the best invention of life, right? And I don't want to expand to that too much, but it's like your brain wouldn't basically, in my opinion, you wouldn't just feel comfy with everything you've experienced in this life, waking up like in the next 100 years. It would just be too much, and you would just want to go back because I don't know, but there is a reason why older people just don't want to learn new stuff, right? As we get older, we just like what was before, and it's very hard to adapt to new stuff. So I think it would be really hard there would definitely be exceptions, but yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to probably wake up 1,000
There's
years from
such
now.
a thing as outliving your time, man. You just, yeah. I don't think I want to be. I don't want to exist in the year 3000, man. I don't think so. Not for me.
Yeah.
You don't think you want to
I
live
mean,
underwater, Max?
Say that again.
You don't want to live underwater like the Jonas Brothers song?
Oh, I'm so happy you said that, man. I was gonna make that joke, and then I was like, no one's gonna know what that is.
I mean, if we are reborn, then maybe, who knows what the life is gonna be around by the year 3000, right?
Okay,
But
what
I
price
wouldn't
is
like.
Bitcoin in the year 3000?
Oh man, it's not. I'll tell you this: it's not denominated in dollars or euros. That's what I'll tell you.
Maybe everything's denominated in Bitcoin.
It'll be
That's what
denominated
I'm
in
talking
Mars
about.
Toshi. All right, because we'll be living on Mars.
Marstoshi. It will be denominated in Harry Potter Sabama Ten Inu.
There you go. Yep.
Everything is denominated in
That's the
Kompai
backing
pandas.
Bro, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Yes.
Like Harry Potter Obama Inu is like it was. So many people faded it, but I love the name, man. I love the name. It's so funny.
It's
how they put all
it's
that
so
together.
stupid. You gotta buy it.
Yeah, it's like I got their NFTs too. It's like, bro, it's yeah, I like it. I like it, even for a meme.
Anyways, let's get serious again and get back to the charts, because that was nice little break here, to ease the pressure of all the alpha. But now, guys, now listen. I have shared this chart right on the day of the bottom. Okay, it was like June 2022. This was the first time I talked about this fractal with the Nasdaq. And from a lot of fundamental ways, this is not just technical fractal. It also makes sense because from the fundamental perspective, because Nasdaq is the index of technological stocks, and Ethereum is basically an index for all the other shitcoins that run on Ethereum, right? So they do have a similar aspect to them, and these two prices are absolutely insane that that they correlate this much. Like, it cannot be coincidence that you got this close on these two pricings. And what I think has happened here is that we've already got the 0.8 crash, sort of. This big higher time frame triangle, and I might change the lining here to make it solid. Okay, so this is the big base of this whole chart, and this is the last opportunity. I say it here, last opportunity to buy ETH sub 2000. It's gonna be as if you were buying sub 2000 Nasdaq right here. Then we break out, and surely there will be probably, I do not expect it to happen after. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not expecting this to copy the chart 1-to-1, nor did I expect that we're gonna have 2008 crisis. But we have created, what you wanna know, we have created this base down here, all in all, right? Here we have also created the base down here, and once we leave it, we are not going below. That's the base case. And then, whether we go to I don't know, 4,000 ETH, and then maybe we do some shakeout there and then continue higher, maybe I do not know exactly how it's gonna be up there. That will depend. That's the way with fractals or cycles. These price swings won't repeat 1-to-1. You will have to adapt based on the future things that are happening, right? But the overall cycle is gonna play out, just like, for example, as Max was saying, the Link versus Ethereum, the breakout, that is gonna play out too. Give it a few more weeks, or that's playing out. And I'm saying here, this is your last opportunity to buy sub 2000 cheaply.
It's
Many
Jack,
will look at.
It's almost like 15K Bitcoin, and a lot of people just aren't seeing it, right? It's like 25K Bitcoin, and a lot of people aren't seeing it. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, like these parabolics, like what you're drawing, a lot of people are like, that's funny, that's not gonna happen. This is exactly what happens every single cycle. This is, like look at 17th cycle to prior cycle. Just look at the ramp up there. Show them the ramp up, Jackus, from 17
Let
cycle
me
to
ask you.
15.
Let me ask you a question, Jackus, about what Will just mentioned. You were around actively last cycle. Were people saying that there's not going to be another cycle?
Yes.
When we were down there under $300 on ETH, did people say it's over for good?
They were shorting heavily all the way in here, even after we have, like, all you had to do is left curve disk, do this, and just buy this fucking
That's
support.
it.
It
That's
looks
exactly it. Every single
fucking
time. Man.
obvious. Just like turn off your brain, become an NPC, and buy this hard time frame support. That's all it is. But
It's
then
easy,
people,
man.
So you could make the case, though, that you still have plenty of time to buy Ethereum then, because we still need to flip that range high. If we flip 2,000, you could wait for that retest potentially.
You
and
you
catch
Yes,
the
could,
dip.
but what he's saying is that the discount is here. So if you want the discount, this is the discount
Yeah,
range.
but it is also higher risk in theory,
listen.
right?
The higher risk, in my opinion, is waiting, because what happens is that either you're gonna FOMO much higher and then sell the support, or you're gonna wait for the support, it doesn't retest, and you're gonna miss it, and then you're gonna FOMO way higher, right? And that's what happened the last cycle. Right now we are basically trading right here on Ether, sort of, right here. And what happens is that when we have broken here, many people, okay, there are many that were waiting for this retest. Then the very conservative ones were waiting for this retest, but what we got was this retest, and we never got the retest below. And that's what I'm saying. What we can have is, for example, where we break out, and maybe we just later on get, like, I don't know, this retest, and that's it. Just like with Ether BTC currently, right? Maybe what we are getting is this retest, and we are not getting this one that everyone's waiting for.
Jackets, a lot of the time, like all it is people wanting to overcomplicate it to feel like they're smart, right? Like, but you don't have to be smart here. You just literally have to shut up and buy, and just hold until the parabolic.
I would say, Will, some of the smartest people have the most difficult time in crypto because they
do. That's what I'm
overanalyze
saying.
things. Yeah. I don't think it's they want to feel smart. I think it's that they're just taking too much into consideration. There's a million reasons to be bearish. We could rattle off a dozen right here in just a minute and go back and forth about how bearish things are. But you have to, I mean, you can literally be successful in crypto, at least historically speaking, by just understanding when the Bitcoin halving occurs and buying about 6 months out from that date and just holding it for a couple years. You've been killing it, murdering it, man, killing it. So a lot of these people, and I'm guilty of it too sometimes. Like it's hard not to overcomplicate things. Jackus, we filled that CME gap, man. We partially filled that CME gap. I can't let you get away with that.
We touched it. We did not fill it.
Guys, I'm trying not to be rude here, but we did miss one CME gap, and that's the CME gap on the likes. If we can get a couple more likes, on that and fill that CME gap, it'll definitely make our day, and hopefully we've made yours.
We're doing pretty good. 45 likes. I want to see if we can get to 50 though, guys. If you are enjoying the stream so far, please, if you have not liked the video yet, just take one quick moment, hit that thumbs up button for us. It does wonders for the channel. It does wonders for the show. And the reason we're able to grow so quickly is because of your guys' committed support of what we are building here at Because Bitcoin on a daily basis. So big thank you to you guys. You are truly the best audience out there. And we love that you guys show up every single day, just as we show up every single day to support you guys. So please hit that thumbs up button. Furthermore, if you are new here, maybe you came from Twitter, maybe the YouTube algo's taking a liking to us and spit out this video for you to watch. We are Because Bitcoin, and this is our daily show, Market Check. We are live every single weekday, Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. This is the entire cast. We're here talking markets, talking charts, talking narratives. Please consider subscribing to the channel as well. You just got to hit that subscribe button, and then every single day you can tune into the show. Come hang out with us. It's a really good time. We love to see that subscriber count grow. And again, the reason we're able to grow so quickly is because of all of you guys. So please, if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button for us. It just takes a moment. And furthermore, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. We love it. We love you all. Thanks, guys. When all-time high retest?
Jackus hit the nail on the head right there, and that's where people miss the plot, man. They miss the freaking plot every single cycle. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again.
It's already happening. Yeah, it's always like that, guys.
But Jackus, they still have room to get in right now. That's what I'm saying. Like they don't even realize like they're gonna be buying the top.
I have to stop you guys though. I have to stop both of you, even though I agree with you guys because I'm like very, very aggressively positioned. You're inducing FOMO, gentlemen. You can't induce FOMO. You know, it's there's always another trade. All right,
Max, it's just impossible to always be balanced in all of our talks. The only way we can do that is if you guys come here repeatedly and understand what we are saying, like over time in general, right? So right now, I may be inducing FOMO, but I many times say, hey, for example, this is time to be careful. This is time to be patient. This is time, I think we're going to see a pullback here or so. And then I talk time frames. Okay, so on this time frame, I'm bearish. Right now, we are talking cycles, and I understand that may create a FOMO. But for those of you listening, you need to understand our overall context that we are creating with everything. Right now, we are in the cycle theory where people have been waiting for these things to happen, and they have never happened. So the price doesn't have to come down and do something. It always leaves people on the sidelines.
Yeah, in a big way too, Jackus. Like this is a high time frame analysis, guys. Like this doesn't mean we're not going to get chopped in between. Doesn't mean that price can't trade sideways or do it. Like definitely, those things can happen. Low time frame analysis, daily, weekly. We're trying to chop out the week and see what's going on and see where we can capitalize on the moves. And this is why like I only trade with a certain percentage of my portfolio, and the rest I basically take in as long term holds. But
I like how you drew frowny faces on all of your boxes.
I do
Like
want to point out
crying
though,
faces.
Crying. Wait, is that crying or is that the nose?
crying. Max,
Crying.
I wanted to point out one thing here. Evan Casey says I'm mega long. If I'm wrong, I'll take your orders at McDonald's.
Evan's the man. It is what it is. Yeah, here it is. Evan Casey. There is no second best, man.
You got to get the McDonald's part after that.
Dude, there is no second best.
There's no second.
The American dream.
To work at McDonald's.
Well, it's also his Discord name in our Discord, man. It's the American dream. Make it YOLOing into crypto or go work at McDonald's. That's the American dream.
I'm about to change my Twitter handle to Will's McDonald's Outlook.
Will's McDonald's Outlook. I love it.
What's your McDonald's order, Will? I can't even remember the last time I ordered from McDonald's.
Bro, I can't eat there, man. It tastes like plastic. I it tastes so
Actually,
horrible.
Something worth talking about, okay, to give the other side of the thing. So, for example, it's notable that we have finally reached on the weekly on BTC on RSI to the overbought territory. But that depends on the context, and many bears would say we are overbought right now. And there are, in my opinion, two things you should take from it. So, as always, it's about context, and with this move, we have reclaimed the higher time frame range. So this is not a move to like expect something like that, right? Or even like anything in that regard. This means at first strengths, but it also means that we are finally getting to levels that you should be careful on the weekly. We are no longer completely over undervalued, as I was saying when we were down there. So this is the area you want to look for. And then what you want to keep in mind is that the price can stay overbought for a longer period of time. And that depends a lot on the contexts, right? So right here, if you look at it, we went overbought right on this candle, right here. And here we have also reclaimed this whole range. We have broken above it and we went overbought. And then many would tell you, and they have, that we're gonna go back right down, if not all the way down here to retest. And we have much later on. The thing is that the price, even once we touch overbought, it continued another 100% higher. And I'm not saying it's going to go 100% because there will be new all-time high from here, but I'm saying we can stay overbought for a little longer and continue to like 50K easily. And then what you want to keep in mind, and it all is always is about context, timings, and so on. So for example, in 2015, 16, 17 cycle, we went overbought on this candle when we got out of the range lows, right? We had a pullback, retested, and then look how many times we went overbought. And we always did a nice pullback from the overbought levels, reset it, but then it's always about context, right? So here we just retested the level, right? Or for example, here on this move, I believe we have hit the 61 retracement, maybe something like that. Okay, it was 0.5. So like that's the time to be careful for the retrace right here. And then, but we come back, right? And what I'm saying is that the price can stay overbought for a long period of time. And we have to go really level by level. And these are only tools, and they need to be confluent with other things as well. So, but understand that, as I keep on saying, right, if you're just going to keep printing higher and higher here, then what I most likely can see is that we're going to distribute right here and then come back and fill all those inefficiencies. And the RSI in the meantime would be way higher. And then we continue higher. If, however, we do that in a way where we, for example, trade around here, maybe we go to like 40K, and then we make the retest of this level, and then we go higher, then we are never going like down
30,
here anymore.
That level for those just listening is 32K.
Yeah, 32 to 30K. It's the big range low retest. We can scoop it as an area of 32 to.
Real quick, Jackus.
Go.
Is oil going up and inflation going up? Is that bearish or bullish for assets?
If inflation is gonna go up,
if people are fearful that they're going to lose value on their dollar, what are they going to do with their dollars?
Buy U.S. Treasuries.
I have a question.
I knew you were going to try and go there, Tucker. No, they ain't. They're going to buy assets, boys. They're going to buy assets. Guess what that does? That pushes the price higher. So my inflation theory with U.S. oil plays right into all this.
Don't oil and the dollar trade fairly correlated? Like I said yesterday, I don't trade oil at all, so I have no idea.
The minute oil started blowing up, started coming back up to the upside, you instantly saw assets start to do the same. Like inflation and assets go hand in hand.
All right, Jackus, one more chart, one more cook session, and then I got to wrap us up here. We've been going for an hour 40.
Yeah, definitely. So, people, we need to understand that if the yields are going to go higher, that's actually bullish for the commodities, right? So, but it's on the macro scale, right? So once again, I do expect yields to drop shorter term. Next year, they're gonna start dropping. They're gonna drop to like 25, maybe into 26. We'll see, and then 27, 28, there will be like another wave of higher inflation. And what we need to understand is that once again, guys, we need to differentiate inflation and CPI, because inflation is the expansion of the currency supply, and CPI is just a yearly measurement of the price changes in your local store on certain stuff. So that's very important, but unfortunately the whole economy and everyone is looking at CPI and then making decision based on that yearly luck tool. So that's the period for stagflation for stocks, and it's period for commodities to run a lot. We do clearly see that the 10-year was going sky high to all the way to 15% on the 10-year yield, and commodities, gold was running really high in the time too. It was the same for oil, and it was the same for silver, by the way. Right?
What about the next period? It looked like no, we can talk about it. Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask this next period to the right further. Yeah. I mean, it looks like gold had a nice little rally there, and, yields were not really doing too much.
Yeah, for sure. It's not that in my opinion, it's not that yields need to go up for gold to go up, right?
Yeah.
It's just that it's clearly seen that when yields go up, it's gold that's going up as well with it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a period of stagflation for equities. Yeah, let's see what Ether is doing, because that's some stream fun.
Yeah, your box, Jackus. You ruined the rally again. You drew your box.
The box is out there.
I like that trade setup. I would bid on leverage probably 1870, 1865, assuming that we don't go on to make a new low. I like that level. Makes a lot of sense to me.
I mean, it does. The problem is that market makers will do this.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna wait for it. Like I still have a bunch of spot. I'm very exposed. I just if it comes, I'll take the trade. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the best play for lower time frames is to buy something here. Don't set stop loss below this low, and then buy something when it takes this low. So you add up, then maybe there is a third push, and maybe the invalidation is down here.
There's no invalidation.
You really need to. There's no invalidation.
No invalidation.
We need a meme with Sailor, as he says there's no second best. We need a meme when there's no invalidation.
Tucker's probably got one. Tucker's got a nice archive.
I can do it for you.
All right, I gotta call us here though, guys. It's getting to be that time. We've been going for an hour 45. Guys, thank you so much for being here as always. Let's see how we did on the likes. We got to 48 likes. We almost got to 50.
Max.
Yes.
Max, I forgot. I wanted to touch upon total.
Okay. Cook.
Last chart, guys.
The last supper, guys. The last meal that Jackus is cooking.
The last meal for today.
Until tomorrow.
So I think this one got for some reason. Oh, I know why. So we clearly have now, guys, we have a bullish market structure on the total market cap of crypto. Bears, deal with it. You just died, because this is huge. Okay. I was calling for the higher low down here. It's the same for Ether, BTC, and so on. Why I thought we gonna get this leg, but right here, it breaks this high. These two confirm it, right? This was I'm gonna draw it here. This is the only market structure you wanna see, right here, you still had a chance. I mean, I was anticipating further upside. There were hints. Now you died. Here you died. And what happens here is small pullback and then the upside. It always happens like this, these big rotations. This is the, if you're going to play out the fucking Vic of Fractal that everyone loves, this is the SOS, right? So what we're going to have here is a pullback, for example, to this level, maybe some reaccumulation. I do not know, but like buy. This is confirmed bullish structure. I kept on hearing from bears, what about the market structure? The trend is bearish, blah, blah. The trend is bullish. Deal with it, guys. Okay, been calling for it down here. I'm not calling for it right here. I mean, I am, but I was calling for it down here. So, yeah, very bullish. And by the way, higher time frame reclaim of the range as well.
It's very bullish. I would agree with you there, Jackus. Well, good place to wrap it up. Guys, thank you so much for being here. As always, if you haven't liked the video yet, we're 1 like away from 50 likes while we are live. I'm sure we'll easily run that later on the reruns. Easy. The afternoon crew always takes care of the likes. But, guys, if we could get 1 more like on this video, that would be fantastic to hit our full TP of 50 likes. We're at 49. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you haven't yet, also please consider subscribing to the channel. We love to watch that subscriber count grow, and thank you guys so much again for your loyal commitment and support of our channel. One last thing to discuss. If you check out the first link in the description of this video below, you can find a link to our website, becausebitcoin.com/premium. That will take you to our website, and you can sign up for our Discord. It's a really awesome experience. You get to trade with Snorlax, me, Tucker, Jackus, and Will's Outlook. We share premium analysis that we don't discuss here on YouTube. We share position setups, and we actually have an active positions channel for each and every one of us. So you get to not only see how we're looking at markets, but how we're executing and actually making money trading these markets. So it's really great. We also, in the Discord, we do over an hour a day. Most likely, it's like an hour and a half a day of voice calls with our entire community right before the New York session open and right before the New York session close, the most, in my opinion, most important times of the day. So all of us are in there talking, communicating with you guys on a daily basis. There's not a Discord community out there that works harder than we do. Now, here's the treat, guys. If you use this code below, TwitterBB, for 1 month free. If you use this code at checkout, you get 30 days for free. It will not charge your card for 30 days. And then if you don't like it, you can cancel. But I have a feeling you will like it. But we're going to give you 30 days for free using the code TwitterBB when you go to checkout. Again, the link to our website is the first link in the description of this video. Check it out, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Tommy, I kind of went off, but it's officially yours to take us out and say goodbye.
No, Max, I had to let you cook, man. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed the 5-course meal we prepared for you today, guys. Hey, it might have even been 6 or 7 if your stomachs could even handle it. But, we appreciate y'all's support, of course, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. And, of course, like Max was saying, we do have some premium content for you guys to enjoy. If you want maybe a little bit more of an intimate look at how we're approaching these markets on a daily basis. But without further ado, I'll go ahead and wrap us up. Thank you guys for being here. We will, of course, be back tomorrow for another episode, another day of tackling these markets. Make sure to tune in for Market Talk today with the legendary King Wabi. We have a very, very special guest on later today with Ice Bags and the Kanpai Pandas. So make sure to tune in for that as well. But for the Giga Chads, we will see you on the afternoon call, and everybody else, we will see you tomorrow or on the on Market Talk space. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thanks, guys.